Welcome back to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jae and Bae, the #1 source for competitive Legends of Runeterra news and information. If you're looking for the best decks to play right now, be sure to check us out on Twitter at Master Runeterra or in our Discord. And if you want to take the next step in leveling up your game, check out our Runeterra team on Patreon, where we do weekly learning calls and one-on-one coaching. Now strap in and grab yourself some Boro snacks, because we are about to start Mastering Runeterra.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Mastering Runeterra podcast with Jae and Bae. We got a great show for you today. We got a brand new patch to talk about. We got a tournament to dive into. We got puppies in the background. It's going to be an absolute banger. We're also recording this at 8 a.m. our time. So if you see us sucking down some coffee, you'll know why. Also, apologies for not putting out a podcast last week. Majin was at Flesh and Blood Nationals, and I was just kind of, I could say busy, but probably lazy is probably the real word we're looking for here. I was tired, man. I don't know. Like, also, there's, the patch notes weren't out yet. There wasn't a lot to talk about. I screwed the pooch. I don't know what to say. Anyways, sorry about that. Back. We're allowed to take days off, I hope, eventually, sometime. Okay, so yeah, first up, let's talk about the $1,000 tournament this Saturday, October 1st. It is the 1-year anniversary of MasteringRuneterra.com. It's open to all of our subscribers, $1,000 prize pool. Majin and I will be streaming it at the Mastering Runeterra Twitch channel, which is always a good time if you haven't seen us cast together. It's a lot of what you see here, but with like more banter and silly jokes and memes. So yeah, sign up for the website if you want to play. Subscribe to the website if you want to play in it. We'll be sending out the
not to my Twitch channel,
not to his Twitch channel.
I had a couple people ask me. Yeah.
We've had a lot of,
or do both.
Had a lot of interesting stuff. Also, not to the Master Runeterra Twitch channel, to the website.
Yeah, not that either.
Go to the website, click on sign up. One of the premium accounts, not the free accounts. Also, which you can also though sign up for a free account and get all and connect your Riot account and get all your stats and all of your match history, which is super useful. That's something we just rolled out in the last couple of weeks. And we'll be doing giveaways and stuff as well. It's gonna be a good time. My cat's blocking one of my lights now. She's gonna come walk in front of. She's gonna knock over my camera. Here she comes, ready for the tail. 1, 2, 3. There it goes. Okay. Let's jump into it. We got a brand new patch. Seasonals is 10 to 8. 10, 9.
Yeah.
9 days away. 9 days away.
Next weekend.
Yes, next Saturday. Which also, by the way, great testing, right? If you want to get some testing in for seasonals, this is probably going to be one of the only tournaments really happening. It's definitely going to be the major one. A lot of the top players are going to be out. A lot of our Master Runeterra pros will be there. And the cutoff also for ladder climbing, the 7 and 2 cut, and for everyone that's trying to qualify for Worlds is in 1 week. How crazy is that? We just got this patch, and it's like, bang, go, go time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about it too much because I have to. Well, I don't have to do it through ladder. I can do it through seasonal still with like points or top 4, but I want to lock that in.
Yeah, how nice.
So trying to get that ladder finish.
It takes so much pressure off of your seasonals run, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like anything can happen.
Also be at TwitchCon during seasonals, so I just don't want to be stressed for it. I'll be like playing it and streaming it still. That's the plan. But like, I don't want to have to be like, sorry guys, can't go to TwitchCon. Need to practice. You know what I mean? Like, that's not fun.
Yeah,
I don't want that pressure on me.
No, totally. Like even for me, I think I'm like 6th if you take out the people that have already qualified. And so like I just need a solid finish. I think like a 5 and 3 where I like won 2 or 3 of the games and my losses probably gets me there, kind of thing. Or does it? I don't know. So this is the thing. I'm very high up there. One other nice thing for the seasonal points is that the top 8 people, for anyone who doesn't know, top 8 from this season qualify for Worlds, whereas previously it's always top 4. So that means 8 people who would have accumulated a lot of the points from seasonals will get qualified and will, not be a problem for me to deal with. But it's still stressful. I'm not a lock by any means. And so, yeah. So back to your point, like qualifying through ladder points and just having like not worry about it would be very, very nice. And
also 8-1 tiebreakers or 7-2 tiebreakers.
Oh yes,
right? Because if you qualify through ladder, like then you have the tiebreakers anyway. You're high enough, so that's just nice. And we've discussed this before, but like being high ranked enough to get 7-2 tiebreakers for seasonals is basically a cheat code.
It's so absurd.
It's like so good.
Yeah, it's not particularly hard to go 7-2. Like that's very doable. Going 8-1 is a tall order. Like there's literally only
you need luck to go 8.
Yeah, there's only like
no matter how
14 people. I think 12 go 8-1 and like 2 go 9-0. Out of 1,000. It's like 14. You have to be in the top 14 out of 1,000 people, which is brutal. What is that? 1% would be 10 people.
I think we can, because it's top 32, right? And if 2 go 9-0, then that's 30, and we know the top 12 7-2s get in.
Oh,
so it's 18.
Oh, so more people go 8-1 than I thought.
Just 18.
Okay.
Near the dog.
Either way, it's very difficult to do. But yeah, speaking of worlds and nationals and such things, so you were at nationals. Give us a quick little nutshell of it. Real quick.
Yeah. Tournament started off 5-2. It's both draft and constructed. I really didn't want to play draft. I don't like the set for draft. So I was upset to have to play day 2 instead of playing the all constructed calling. Finished outside the money in day 2. So I day 2 nationals, but like that's not what I'm aiming for, right?
Yeah. And so you're not qualified for Worlds. Freshman Worlds, which is at the beginning of November, but there is also a large like Grand Prix type event that's open to everyone that I would also like to go down and play in, but I feel like I can't book my ticket yet because I don't know when Legends of Runeterra Worlds is. Yeah, if it's like the same weekend, or the weekend after even, like then I don't want to be taking time away. I'm pretty sure it's not. But like I don't know, and it's so frustrating that we're like, into October now, and they've probably known the date for months, and they just haven't released it. Or which I think is kind of fucked up, the prize pool either. Like, isn't that weird?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna play it anyway. So
I mean, I assume it's probably just be the same as last year, and they were probably just like, yeah, why don't you just do the same as last year? But like. They should maybe understand that like a lot of us are Magic players, and like we got a little bit of PTSD where like they said there was $3 million in prize money, and then all of a sudden there was $1 million in prize money, and a lot more people playing in the tournaments. It was pretty bad. So I don't know if that's a case for it or against it when it just like doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't know. I just wish they would announce that shit. Speaking of announcements, remember when the roadmap came out and they said they were cutting coverage for seasonals? And then at the last second, they were like, okay, we'll do one more. And then they just like kept doing them. And all of us were just like, let's just not ask.
Let's just not tell them.
Just not.
If we just don't bring it up.
Yeah, they never announced that like, hey guys, seasonal coverage is coming back. Or maybe they did in Dave's. Maybe that's kind of like out of Dave's post when he said they were going back to refocusing at PvP. Maybe. I don't know if he said it in there, but maybe it's almost implied that like we're going back to the good stuff. Anyways, yeah, that shit's fun.
Hard to focus on PvP and not show the PvP tournaments. Right?
Yeah, one of the devs that went on to Nick Makes Plays stream. I love that. So he said like he talked about like how they refocused on. He said competitive specifically instead of saying like refocused on PvP. So I was like, see, that's what it is. That's actually what it is. It wasn't just like when they said core players and all this shit. Like they meant competitive, and because like that's all we got really. Like it's not a casual game. in a sense of like, I don't think it's going to live being just casual. You know, like, I don't think it's going to grow just being a casual game.
It won't grow being just a casual
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I can get on board with.
And so that's why I wondered how much, because PvP, sure, but like, where is that scale? But when he said like refocus on competitive, I'm like, that to me, that was like a bit of a slip, or like, I bet you that's how they describe it, you know, internally and stuff. Anyways, okay, let's jump into the patch stuff. That's what people want to hear about. So lots of controversy around this patch. Nami obviously not getting touched is a big one. Crazy. Decimate going to 6, which didn't seem really super warranted, but I kind of like switching it up a bit. Let's talk about some decks. There's some hotness out there. People are brewing all kinds of stuff. A lot of the stuff that used to be tier 2 is now kind of bubbling up to the surface. Why don't you go first? What have you been playing? What have you been liking? What have you been playing against that you feel like is strong or even not strong?
So I've been playing against a lot of Swain.
Of course.
And so I was also playing Swain, but I was playing B's P&Z Swain, Tribeam. Sorry, the puppy's going nuts. Because it could kill other Swains, right? So it's like a Swain deck, but it just draws more cards and it kills more things. So it goes a little bit bigger in the mirror, and that made it a lot, like, pretty easy for me to beat all the other Swain decks. I was having a pretty good run, and then I started dropping a couple games to, like, fucking Leona. I was, like, losing to Leona, and I was like, oh my god, I'm getting so unlucky. And then it happened, like, 3 times in a row, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, what's going on here?
There's something here. Like, every time my opponent played Leona, my my game just stopped. Right? You just like can't get past her. She's just a wall. Because she gets barrier, she stuns something, and then like Sunburst is 5 mana, it kills unleveled Swain. They have Concerted Strike, they get Solar Priestess for Comet. Like, it was just like,
Yeah, they just like out mid-ranged you. I
was like, yeah, they just out mid-ranged me. And I didn't expect them to be able to do that, because traditionally, like, the these like PNZ Noxus decks can go toe-to-toe with, like, you know, the Tribeam decks have always been able to go toe-to-toe with like the Demacia Targon decks. But this PNZ Noxus deck is bigger than normal, and it draws more cards than normal. So I was like, oh, yeah, it definitely should win here. And then I just didn't. And so I started playing Leona. After like a 75% win rate on Swain or something. I started playing Leona.
What are your thoughts on the Swain deck?
Swain's good. I like the PNZ Swain more than all the TF Swains and stuff. There's like a lot of flavors floating around. Swain is an incredibly strong card right now. I don't know exactly how much of a meta share he'll take up, or like how impactful the Swain decks will be, but like Swain is a very powerful card.
Yeah.
That's what I've kind of learned. And when we see like less homecomings in the format, I think he's going to absolutely take control. Because in like these mid-range mirrors, like, it's so much easier to force a Swain through when he has Overwhelm. It's like insane.
Yeah.
And an extra point of damage. It's like nuts.
He levels super fast.
He levels very fast, especially in like the Bilge 101. He levels less fast than the PNZ one, but you're just killing everything your opponent does, so you don't really care.
Yeah.
So yeah, Swain felt very strong. I know some other people think that he's not. And I don't know, maybe they'll be right. Like, time will tell. But then
I think it just depends on the meta, like you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, powerful, like, a lot of times you see that, right? Powerful card just doesn't fit in right now. Then things change a little bit.
Or Aphelios.
Yeah, the top stuff gets hit, and then boop, there it is, ready to go.
Yep. So yeah, I think Swain good. Like, anytime like a mid-range Noxus deck will be good, like Swain will be like very good.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then I switched to Leona to just try it out, and I ended up going like 80% win rate over like 20 games off 2 different deck lists, or like 25 games or something. And climbed up to like 600 LP last night, which is part of why I'm so tired. Because, you know, like, you play poker. when you're winning and you feel like you have an edge, you don't get up.
You gotta press.
You don't leave the table, right? Is a fish at the table? Nope, I ain't leaving. I gotta get that LP.
Yeah.
Especially with like Worlds points, with Worlds qualification on the line. I was just like, I was winning at like 11 p.m. and I was like, I have to keep playing.
Yep.
So I played till like, I don't know, 1:30 or 2 or something.
Yep, been there. And then what else? What else is Nami. Do you think Nami IO is still the best deck?
Yeah, probably. Although I have been beating it with Leona more than not. I beat it every time I played against it, except when I played against Kanan, who's like the rank 1 guy. And it was like very, very close. Very close. And so like that was surprising to me.
I was beating it a lot with Ezreal Kennen, and I don't think the nerfs to that deck would affect that matchup very much because you don't care that Sidon is a 3/3, and the
You can't kill Shelly.
Mark of the Storm going to 2 would matter with Shelly. It's definitely like a bit of a hit there, but not like a massive one. Normally, I found that the matchup, like one person just kind of snowballs the other person. Not being able to kill Shelly kind of sucks. Shelly's not great in the matchup. It's a little mana intensive.
I can hear you. I just had to shut the door because the puppy was so loud.
So yeah, I mean that's definitely rough, but like I had a pretty high win percentage in the matchup. A lot of that also could just do with people not being familiar with that matchup. It's a weird matchup, right? A strange Ionia matchup. And I played it, I was getting better and better and better at it as I kept playing these Nami players, and so tough to say. But like I don't think the deck is as big of a boogeyman as like maybe we're making it out to be. I'm not saying the deck's not amazing. I'm just saying that like we're kind of the way we're talking about it, we're putting it up there with like Kai'Sa, TF, Fizz TF, Aphelios TF. Like we're putting it up there with these kind of decks. Like people are talking about like not having any bad matchups, which is like tier 0. And I don't think that's true. Like time could tell. It's tough to tell with that deck because like the pilot makes such a huge difference. But yeah, like I think it's probably got some holes somewhere. It is a Nami deck after all.
Yeah, it is a Nami deck, so like it can just like not hit, but like the Stein Disciple goes a really long way. Heavy metal helps. And the deck, like there are some serious pilot error.
Yes.
Serious pilot error. Even from like the good players, right? Like I misplay like multiple times every single Nami game. Recognizable misplays, which is usually not the case, where I can just look at it and be like, I messed that up. And so I think the deck is incredibly strong. There just is a lot of like room to make mistakes. And yeah, like you said, sometimes it just doesn't get there. But there are like other decks are popping up and performing very well throughout like the whole season. So I think it's gonna like put an absolute stranglehold on the format or anything. I just think it's still very good.
It is just like in raw power terms, like kind of above most other things, right? There's not a lot of other things where you can point to and be like, wow, that is just doing some sick, busted, consistent shit over there, like that deck is.
Tsunami does, yeah. It just oops, that kills you a lot too.
Yeah. Man, Saturday's gonna be really interesting. I'm really excited to see not only what decks rise up, but like how people build their lineups and what ends up going together and stuff. It's like, man, yeah, we don't have a lot of time for people to like try new stuff out. It'll be very telling to see what rises up. I've seen a lot of Ahri Kennen, a lot of Ahri Kennen lists doing quite well.
Really?
Yeah.
Kennen got nerfed and people are playing Ahri Kennen?
Yeah. So one of the ones I saw was Noxious, and it plays like 2 of the Grey Hammer, which is like the Overwhelm equipment, which I don't know. It was playing 2 Great Assassin too, which I was like, get that shit out of here. Like, it wasn't playing with the full 3 twin disciplines. It's like, come on, what's wrong with you? Get these fucking assassins out of here. But so you have the Mourned, and you have the Stylian Disciple, and then you have like Dancing Droplet, Kennen, like Navori Conspirator, Ahri, as like you just like turbo level
really aggressive.
Your fucking your Ahris, your Kennens are just like always level. Like super, like you're leveling Ahri on like 3 and shit, like craziness. Maybe not 3. Close. Could be
not 3.
No, actually it could be on 3. 1. No,
because you have to attack.
No, yeah. Not on 3. 4. I think you could do 3. 1. No, I can't get the 6th one. I don't know. But yeah, it's it's pretty absurd. Like this version's playing Fae Blade Twirler, which just gets massive so fast. Like I'm not a huge fan of this card, but like when it's just like an 11-3, like immediately, like it's so absurd.
And like every turn they could just have might and you could die. Like
yeah. So I don't know if that's the best version either. Like why Might over Absolver?
Because of the region. You could run Greyhammer.
Yeah. That's the reason to run Greyhammer, but like I don't even know if Greyhammer is actually that good.
I don't either.
But yeah, the deck's done very well on ladder. And again, though, who knows, right? It's these early days, smaller sample sizes. But like I can see a deck like this giving Nami a hard time. Because it's just a bunch of fucking dude, like really cost-effective dudes, and then a bunch of interaction. And that's basically what Ezreal Kennen was.
Yeah. Except you get more blockers, which is nice.
Who does?
More elusive blockers and stuff. You don't have to worry about getting cheesed out by like a single verbal fish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that excites me because I fucking love Ari. Ari Kennen specifically. I hope that deck is good.
Me too. I'll keep my eye on it. I'm not convinced.
No,
but I'll keep an eye on it.
What about what do you think of Lee Sin Akshan?
Still good.
How good? Like you bring in seasonals good?
Good. Yeah.
A lot of people on the Master Runeterra team I know have been playing the deck. Kever's been shocker. Kever's been playing the best Lee Sin deck or a Lee Sin deck.
Lee Sin.
Why do you think he's playing that? Why is he? Did you say why he's playing that over Nami, Lee Sin, TF?
He's playing both. Those are the only two decks he's been playing.
I mean, makes sense. Those are only Lee decks, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
he knows what he's about.
So yeah, so you think it's actually it's quite good. It's tier 1.
I think it's very strong. Yeah, probably. I think it's a better tournament deck and always has been than a ladder deck.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Oh, hi, puppy. Yeah. Then okay, let's talk about what would your third. So you're playing. Are you playing Nami TF, Akshan Lee, and a third deck? Is that your lineup? If you had to play a tournament, like
it's possible. I haven't even thought about it yet. I haven't put any thought into it because like the meta was going to change, so I just didn't worry about it.
Yeah, no, exactly. What about like Pirates? Where do you think Pirates is now?
I think Pirates took a pretty big hit, and I actually don't think it was very good before. I think the meta was very hostile to it. You lost to Nami at like a pretty decent rate if it was played correctly. Don't make me. And all right, okay. Let me sit you down. You lost to Nami if the Nami pilot knew what they were doing and had a reasonable draw, and then like you got absolutely just bodied by Plunder, which people love to bring to tournaments. Plunder is like a classic third deck, right? It's like Plunder, Akshan, Sivir, Fiora, right? Like those are like the deck threes. And so I expect to see a lot of Plunder, which bodies Pirates. I don't know. I'm just not super sold that like Pirates is really good. It depends on what comes out of this patch, right? Because like if a bunch of decks vulnerable Pirates are like picking up steam, then Pirates could be a really good pick. But if not, then I don't think people want to bring it. It's also like Pirates isn't like the aggro deck of old, right? This isn't like the triple aggro deck lineup Pirates. This is like basically just a mid-range deck that's faster than you. And so if your lineup's not built around it and you're just bringing a worse mid-range deck than like Nami or something, or even like Red Gwen or whatever, right? Then like why are you bringing it?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think it's more of a meta choice right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Have you seen any good Nocturne decks?
No, I've seen Nocturne decks and I've been beating them. However, like the decks I've been playing have been very good into Nocturne because I have like stuns and stuff.
Yeah.
Stuns and removal spells.
Do you think that buff is going to be significant?
It is significant. I don't know if it's enough to make him like really, really good or anything, but it is a significant buff because you can just play him in like a Fearsome's deck. I know Void was playing it a lot. He was playing like a Shadow Isles, Noxus, like fearsome, like Mistwraith fearsome harrowing deck.
Yeah. What else? Do you think anything else is going to like rise up that used to be good? Like things like you mentioned, like Auction Sivir, Mono Shurima, Ziggs Talia, I don't know, Thralls. How about Echo Zillion? Any of that stuff, you think?
I don't think Echo Zillion's good. I think that deck has always been bad.
Well, it just got buffed a little bit, right? I guess like Zillion got
Did
the
it?
champ spell changed. And
Yeah.
there was like one other
You
thing.
don't want to ever play that deck into a field of concussive palms and homecomings, right?
Yeah, I guess not, hey?
Like, that just ain't it.
I mean, I think the deck
Every time
has
I
a
play
certain
against
amount
it, they just, like-
of power, but it just needs like some better support cards. Like maybe Zillion is not supposed to be the like Echo's insane, right? Like Echo's an insane champion.
He's the whole
It's
deck.
just everything around Echo kind of sucks, or like could be better. Cat's
Except
Cat's
for
kind
Voice
of
of
good.
the Risen.
Yeah, Voice of the Risen. Cat's good.
Cat, Voice of the Risen, Absolver are like the good cards. Everything else is pretty poo poo.
Yeah, yeah. You need like drop order to be like a 3/3 or something. Two.
God, I would hate that so much.
I guess it's 1 mana, so 2/3.
It is 1 mana, yeah. 1 mana, 3/3. They just have like the most insane one drop of all
Even
time.
a 1
for no
mana
reason.
2/3 is like not that like scary.
For free? I'd be scared of a 1 mana 2/3. Sometimes that deck just beats down.
It does.
Because it just like plays a cat, predicts, hits 2 drop order, and attacks you, and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, I mean the deck got like the new 2/1, the darkened 2/1. The Thrall.
Oh, that's
thing,
right.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a good upgrade. I just think I think the deck is just not good enough.
Yeah.
It's very vulnerable.
It's just close. I think Zillion, like, you just need a better, like if you had another thing that
Red
kind of
champ.
did echo stuff, like beat down, for instance,
Another
like the whole
payoff.
deck could
Yeah.
beat down and pay off and like be synergistic, like it could be a real monster. But I think that's a problem. You just need a second champ to go with him. And as soon as that happens, though, I bet you he's gonna be a problem. He's one of those. It's one of those decks.
Yeah, definitely
He's one of
could
those
be.
champs that's like just right there waiting for the support. What about like Lurk?
If Leona decks take okay, so here's the thing: like Lurk traditionally incredibly strong against Demacia because Demacia kills things in combat with like single combat and stuff, right? Or like challenging. And if all their stuff has 8 power for no goddamn reason, then it's really really hard to do that. You have to like trade your units off. However, like Leona's deck just stuns things, which is really good against Lurk. So like, I don't know, like if Leona becomes like the Demacia deck or whatever, and that's the deck you're supposed to prey on, then like I don't see Lurk being good. I also like there's always a spike of Lurk in the beginning of the season, and the deck just like isn't very good. It's kind of like Echo Zillion, where like it does a powerful thing, and sometimes it just high rolls you, but like the deck's not good.
Yeah, I mean it did eat quite a few nerfs. I don't think the deck's,
that was a brutal
I
patch.
think like yeah, those nerfs hurt it quite a bit. Like if it hadn't eaten those nerfs, like it was like it has some raw power to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very strong.
And what it does very well. But like between the nerfs and sort of getting power crept a bit, like I think those things are kind of like what's held it down. But like there's some decks where you're just like, I don't know, like Annie Jin. I'm just like, oh, I just basically never lose that deck. Or like I don't know, just any deck that like Acadio doesn't like basically I don't ever lose those decks. Like, if it has like Blighted Ravine in it or like Mount Targon's Peak, like I just never lose to those decks. But Lurk, I lose to Lurk like a decent amount of time. Like Lurk's like fucking just gets you, quite often.
I lose to Lurk a decent amount too, but it has nothing to do with like what my opponent does. I feel like it's just like they either just do the thing, and maybe I die, or they don't do the thing, and I'm like guaranteed to win. Like if they're not like starting with the attack token, I feel like I win like 80% of the time. And if my Lurk opponent doesn't go 1-drop attack you into Snapjaw Swarm, I feel like I'm super duper favored in like every single matchup.
Yeah, I mean that is one deck that makes a huge difference about that. Like being on the play into Snapjaw Swarm on 2 is like so different from like the opposite of that of like them being able to draw even.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw some Fiora Tarek was kicking some ass.
I saw some Fiora as well. Haven't been impressed.
No.
No, but like decks right now are pretty ready to deal with Fiora. You have like a bunch of Swain decks running around with Ravenous Flock, which is like historically incredible.
Yeah, so it looks like it's basically
against,
just like
these Demacia.
So this is just Poppy Taric. They just slotted in Fiora.
That sounds worse.
Yeah, right? That was my initial thinking as well.
If you're keeping your champ alive enough to attack like 3 times, you're just winning the game anyway. But play the one that gets you there. You know what I mean?
There's also
Not
some
the one that,
Fiora
like,
Pantheon, which is basically again just like the Pantheon deck but with Fiora.
I did lose one. I beat that deck. I did lose one game to Fiora Shen. I think like Simon was playing it off the back of like some like pretty incredible answers drawn on Simon's side for whatever I had. But I was playing that matchup because I was playing PNZ Swain. Again, good matchup for Swain, right? I was just like, I don't know, man. If like, I think I win this 8 times out of 10. Like, I don't think that's the correct way to go for Fiora.
Yeah,
we'll see, but
I don't think like, trying to win with Fiora seems really difficult to do with a 4-drop.
Yeah. I mean, she kind of needs to be like just a value play, but the problem is like it's not enough value right now, and you're playing against the world of Homecomings and Palms.
Yeah, like I don't know, like,
or Flocks, right? Like
in my mind, you kill something every turn. In best case scenario, you kill something every turn. In reality, it's going to be hard to do that on their turn while keeping her healthy enough most of the time.
Yeah,
and so like even
what
if
are you going to do? Send her after a Nami unit?
Yeah, and like
No.
and so like best case scenario is like you win on 7 if somehow you just killed something every single turn starting on 4, and like that's not going to happen very often, right? Like you're not going to be able to kill stuff on their turn. You're not going to be able to like protect her. She's going to die. She's going to get palmed. She's going to get bounced. You're not going to draw her on 4. And so like realistically, I think like the average amount of time you would be able to kill with Fiora would be like, I don't know, 9 or something, 8, 9, which seems a lot worse.
And if you can keep a champ alive in that long and in combat, like you're probably just going to win anyway. Why do you need Fiora?
Yeah, exactly. Like if Poppy lived for that long, you're probably winning also, right? She just leveled.
That's the thing. I mean, she has Challenger, and that makes combat a lot easier to navigate. But like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been impressed with Fiora. We'll see. She's never been like my favorite, so I'm gonna let other people deal with that. I'm gonna let other people like mess around with her and see what kind of comes up.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about this seasonals, to be honest, because the meta has really changed a lot from anything that I'm really like brushed up on. Like I put in some time with Nami Ionia, but not a shit ton, but like enough. And then, but other than that, I'm like, I don't even like what else am I even bringing and stuff. It's like I don't know. I'm going camping today, coming back on Saturday, and then like I guess, and then I have like fucking 2 jobs I need to fucking work throughout the fucking week, and then I have to try and prepare for seasonals and get like 3 new decks and get brushed up on them. Like like I can 100% just rip Plunder out of my butt, no problem, because I played so much Plunder. But like I was not loving it last season. I played a little bit. I was like, this feels like a 54% win rate deck. Like fucking bang on. Not even the full 55. Just fucking like just above 50. And it's fine. And people will do some winning with it. But like there's so many options out there that give you so many tools that like just feels so bad being like, okay, is it Gangplank or Sejuani this turn? Let's see which one gets us there. Fingers crossed. Like, which happens a lot.
But then sometimes you just flip Gangplank on 6 and your opponent explodes.
Oh yeah, sometimes you just like steal your shit, ping you, blow you up, freeze your team, GG. Feels good. But I really would prefer not to play that deck.
Yeah.
But man, like learning 2 or 3 new decks, finding a cohesive lineup, learning all your matchups inside and out, like it's a lot. I don't think people like realize like how much it fucking takes. By the way, do you see that tweet? I think it was like on Drisloff's Twitter or something, or no? Did he respond to it? No, I think it was his tweet where he talks about like league. I don't know if it was him or someone else. League players, like the league pros, compared to like the top ladder players, in League, and then compare that to LOR with like the best LOR players compared to
I did
like
not see that.
diamond players or something. Yeah, people had some interesting takes.
Oh, yeah, and he was like, who do you think is like, where do you think the bigger gap is or something like that?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't 100% understand the question, but I think it was like, yeah, is it comparable? Like the top Masters players to Diamond in LOR, and like the pro players to like the top ladder players, or like
Yeah.
something like that. Which I think is just kind of a dumb sort of argument to have. It's like a little bit of comparing like apples to oranges.
It's a bit different. But
I think
I kind of see
the
where
more
he's coming from.
interesting. I think there's an interesting conversation there for sure. But I don't think it's like comparing those two specifically. I was more interested in seeing like what people actually thought the difference between top Masters players and like Diamond players is, because
Yeah.
you don't really know when you're at the bottom of the mountain looking up. There's like some cloud cover there, and you're kind of like, how far up does the mountain go? You know,
Mhm.
or like it's like an iceberg, or so that's a better like metaphor thing. Like you don't know how far down the iceberg goes in the water, because the difference between I'm gonna put it out there right now. The difference between the top players in the world and diamond players is like the difference of a grown man fighting a child, where you can like put your fucking hand on their forehead while they like, or you could just let them hit you in the face as hard as they fucking can, and then you would just murder them. Because it's night and day. Like it's not a fair fight remotely at all. And like the top players in the world will beat an average diamond player close to 100% of the time if you're playing like a best of 3.
Oh yeah, in a best of 3. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it like
and a best of 1, anything can happen.
I've got matched up against a lot of diamonds. Now, to be fair, like diamond now, it's like plat before, but we're gonna just
Yeah,
not talk about that.
yeah.
Basically, not
We can say
masters, but
diamond or
close,
bottom master. You can even
right?
do
Yeah,
bottom master. That's always been true
yeah. And a lot
before
of
and
times,
now.
like, no shade on anybody, but like, you get used to playing against like the best, and then you play against like someone in diamond or someone who's like 15 LP or something like that. And a lot of times, it's like, are you making these decisions at random? Like, what caused you
Yeah,
to arrive at this decision?
I almost out level myself, where I'm like, why the fuck would they make that play? Doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. I have to try and figure it out. And then like you're like, wait, are they just an idiot? Or like, is this like third level? Like I don't know. It actually like kind of fucks me up sometimes.
They're usually like they usually have something in mind. It's just not something that okay, I
That
think
you're
sometimes
prepared
they
for.
don't. Like a lot of times they have something in mind and they're like working towards a game plan, and maybe it's not the optimal line. A lot of times they take the second best line, right? Or the third best line. But what really gets me is like a lot of times, and I think this is something that we used to preach a bunch and kind of stopped because we forgot about it, is like we used to tell people all the time to like just stop doing stuff. You know what I mean? Like we used people just make a decision because they feel like they have to, right?
Yes.
They just cast cards because they feel like they have to. And we were always just like, stop doing that. And like, I forgot to keep telling people that. But a lot of times you play against like a lower ranked player and they're just making decisions and casting cards because they feel like they have to. And you're like, why are you doing this? Right? Like you're just like, you're asking to get blown out, right? Like you don't have to do this yet.
Yeah.
And that
making
is
my life
often
super easy right now.
Exactly.
And
I don't have to make a hard decision.
Yeah, we sound super elitist right now, by the way.
We sound like assholes. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. The opposite is also true though, because and here's an interesting thing. So there's also like when you get to the top of the mountain, if you take the best player in the world, whoever that is, and then you go second best, third best, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth best, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like the mountain, you have diamond to like top masters, and then you have like top masters to like top in the world is also just massive. Because the opposite of what you said is also true, where like, if you're playing someone at diamond, you're like, why are you doing these things? When you play someone that's much better than you or much higher up the mountain, they're going to make your life so fucking miserable and hard. And you'll be in a situation where like, I got like 8 cards in hand. They have 2 cards in hand. I got like 4 units on the board. They have like 1 unit on the board. This game's like in the fucking bag. And somehow they'll make you fucking sweat and think and second guess and like put you in all kinds of tough positions, even in games where you have a massive advantage. I remember this when I played the Magic World Champion, like GOAT, Paulo Vitor Rosa, if anyone knows him. And it's just different. I like described it in my like winners interview of being like heavy. It's just like he just fucking leans on you. There's no air. There's no every resource is maximized. Every decision is contested. Like nothing is given to you for free. Nothing is ever a given. It's just like they fucking drag you. They make the most out of every fucking ounce of like every card, of every mana, of every fucking resource they have. They make the most out of it. And the game's like never fucking over till it's over. And they make you make a bunch of fucking decisions that are really fucking difficult and just wear you the fuck down. You know, like attacking with like different kind of fucking units and like, you know, making you like try to figure out like, okay, well, this is the obvious block, right? The obvious block here is I block like my bigger unit and like their little unit.
Unless,
but it's like, yeah, do I take more damage here? Or it's like, oh, but like they had this like pump spell that's like rotting in their fucking hand, and they had this fucking mana that they weren't going to fucking use. So now they get to like kill one of your fucking units with it, and they maximize their mana that turn, and you took more damage, and now you're in a much worse spot. And like it just fucking like all of these things compounded like is what makes them the best. And you see that in LOR all the time. Who are like top of the mountain for you? Who when you play against them, you're like, this motherfucker, this is like so hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few people. It honestly is like season to season, because like when you get to that level,
different people, different decks, for sure.
Different people, different decks. When you get to that level, you don't stay at that level, right? Like the best in the world doesn't stay the best in the world usually, in my opinion. I think a lot of it depends on like how much practice you're able to put in. Some metas just gel with some people. Like there's some metas where I felt unstoppable. Like an Ari Kennen meta, I was like, I will beat anyone, like given a fair contest. And there's other metas where I feel like I'm flailing, where I'm just like, I'm just hoping to win.
You just like throwing punches in the dark.
I'm just things happen. I picked my deck choices because like I just want like a puncher's chance, not against like normal seasonal competitors, right? We're talking about the best. We're talking about like other people in Worlds, other people in like top cuts that I expect to see. I remember there was a period of time where I really struggled against Cephalopod for like a season or two. M-Tuck's a very strong player. M-Tuck has a very good read on like the ladder because he plays so much of it. He's very good. Kever's an incredible player when he really puts in time.
He fucking plays so much.
Yeah, I mean, this is like AM people, right? Not like
we only really know
anybody else.
AM people. I always thought Floppy Mudkip.
Floppy's really very, very, very strong player. There's a lot of them. Like if I didn't name you, don't like feel left out.
There's so many, and there's also like there's a difference between like some people are much better at creating decks, some people are much better at tuning decks, some people are better at putting lineups together and like reading the fucking meta. Some people are better at technical play and actually just like making the plays in game. And like all of those things are very important, and being very good at any of them will give you like a big edge. And typically no one's good at like all of them. That's not really a thing. But those that get close are the ones that are like, you know, that ends up being towards the top. Any other thoughts on this meta?
Not particularly. I mean, it's been one day. We just have to wait.
Dude, it's been like
not even 24 hours.
23 hours. Okay, like get it together. What is this? Any other like what about timelines? Is timeline still around?
I mean, it wasn't really very around before.
Yeah, right?
What's
with people bitching about decks that like don't end up being good or just aren't good?
It's a pain in the ass to play against. It's just like it just creates a lot of feel bads. We keep having this conversation. I'm gonna give you the same answer every single time.
Okay, all right, I know. I don't understand why everyone plays with their fucking feelings. Like, oh, it made a big boom. Also, I just beat these fucking decks because they're bad, and so that makes me feel good.
You're playing decks that are naturally good against them.
I made this fucking rant on the other one too, but this is literally like, if anyone's ever played poker, people even for fun, for small stakes, people get really mad when they lose, right? They're like, oh, you fucking idiot. You played those cards? You called there? Oh, you had one out. What are you doing? So and every time I'm like, sorry, you would like your opponents to play better against you. Perfect, even? You fucking idiot. Like, your opponent is trying to, like, you want my money? Oh, sorry, I tripped over trying to give it to you. I'll go pick it up and, like, try to give it to you again. I'm like, thank you. Yay. Let's try this again. See you next hand. Good job. Please never quit playing poker. But for some reason in LOR, people are like, oh, Targon's Peak. I lost to it one time. The fuck?
You have to consider not just the competitive players. It feels like some casual player or whatever who's like in plat is
what
going to queue
about
up
the
a
people
game.
that like playing Targon's Peak? Because those sound like fucking casual players to me. Sorry,
can still play
Targon
it.
Peak players. Love you.
It's slightly
Yeah,
worse.
but like you just like shat on that. Okay, what about people that like Tree? Can't play that shit no more.
That deck's miserable. I would
bunch
nerf it again if I could.
Bunch of big. Make it 10.
That's the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah, Tree. I'm not gonna die on a hill as much. That was much more impressive. But that's a different case because that deck was actually good. Whereas Peak was never good. It's never actually been good. It's just like once in a while you get fucking blown out.
I lost to Peak all the time. I would just die on turn 5. They just She Who Wanders on turn 5 and I die.
Because you don't play Pirates, bro. You play Pirates. Right. You're like, guy, you die.
Yes, mate, yeah.
And like also like, I don't know, Ionia decks also like, haha, free Field of Rush. You're like, get out of that. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, aha, second Field of Rush. You're like, yeah, cool. To stun that guy. Bounce that guy. Fucking
it just felt bad because like even in the Ionia matchups, it's like, okay, they either like did the thing and then I could either answer it or I couldn't. And it's like, I don't know. I felt like I had no agency in those games.
What about people feeling good about doing some stupid combo?
Yeah, they can still do it.
It's strange to me that we're not doing it for the competitive people. We have to think about the casuals. I'm like, those are the casuals. Like, what do you? The people that want to be like free Field of Rush, yeah.
They still By the way, that.
Again, sorry to like the 10 of you out there that think the deck was meta for a while.
It just doesn't happen on turn 5 anymore.
It got close.
Now it's turn 6.
It's just it's kind of weird. It's just a little strange to me. Because I like these decks. I in theory like these decks. I just don't have enough time to play for fun. Like I really have enough time to play competitively. So God knows I don't have. But like, doing silly things like the old timelines combo or like Targon's Peak combo, even Infinite combo. I guess I just like combo decks and they keep fucking nerfing them. The combo decks really what I'm getting at here. Even Decimate. I don't know. These are like cards that go in decks that are much more like fucking, I don't know, chill. They're not like Ionia Nami, which is like a beating of a deck. Like you want to take that against like some casual players? Like sweet mother God. Look away, children. Look away. It's a bloodbath over there. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe people feel better against Ionia because look, I'm in it. I'm still alive. I'm in it. I'm still alive. They lost like 4 turns ago, but they're like, I'm still alive. They haven't killed me yet. I'm still alive. Yeah, I'm still alive. I could win. Ah, they got me. Damn. Like I guess that's what it is. It's
maybe
like,
I don't know. Some people really hate Ionia.
It's not just like an upside the face Field of Rush, like or like I don't know. The original Timelines deck was just bad. Also, I will say though, I've been thinking about this a lot. We had this conversation a lot. The Poros deck. Remember the Poros deck?
Yeah.
It was bad. Everyone was freaking about it. And I was like, yeah, no, this deck's bad. I even talked to a Riot employee. They're like, what do you think? I'm like, it'll be gone in a week. It was gone in a week. But that is a deck that I don't think you want existing.
Just hyper linear. Yeah.
Just hyper linear. Like that was kind of like gross weird. It's like I think there is a line there for sure. But like, I don't know, man. Targon's Peak to me is just like a fun deck. It's just a fun, cool little deck to, I don't know. All right, I'm going off to my phone.
You gotta remember, like, Timelines was a tier 1 deck for like a while. Like recently. Trundle Timelines was very, very good. Not in the last couple of weeks. But like before that, it was like the deck I recommended people climb with. Was Trundle Timelines.
Yeah, I brought it to the top 32 of seasonals. Wasn't
It
impressed.
was good. So it's like,
It
don't
was
just be
fine.
like, oh, we
It
had
was
to nerf
fine.
it just because it's like casuals hate it. Like it was also very good.
To be fair, did the nerf even do that much?
No, it didn't do that much.
One
Also,
to
like
two. You
timelines,
can nope it now.
you can nope it exactly. It like slightly throws off your curve, I guess, which kind of matters.
Yeah.
But like timelines is a card that will only ever get better. We're seeing that with like the new Weapon Master cards, right?
That's very true. Yeah.
So I think eventually something needed to happen to it anyway.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that one I can get behind. Targon's Peak eventually would have also gotten too good.
Probably, yeah. You'd have better discard outlets. I think it would. I think it actually, like, unironically would.
It actually might. Yeah, it actually. I mean, it's not going to get worse.
That's true. Yeah.
Unless they print a bunch of good landmark removal. Which, by the way, for anyone that was like fighting against, I saw a lot of the comments about our talk about rotation and people not understanding why like it would help solve a Kaizen meta. It's because when you bring down the power level of the rotated format, now the cards that you add in don't have to be as fucking high. And so typically the thinking is if they break the smaller pool format, they may not break the larger pool format because it has a lot of more powerful cards and tools to combat things. Is what you see happen like in Magic, for instance. Like lots of times a card will come into standard, into the newest format, and it'll be game changing, and then it won't affect the older formats. Not always. Sometimes cards are just freaking busted because that game like has a general power creep because they can't like fine tune shit, which we don't have as much in LOR. Which by the way, super looking forward to that. Man, next year is fucking hype. Looking forward to all the LOR stuff. Any other decks? What about Red Gwen? Is Red Gwen popping back up?
I don't know yet. I haven't had time. It's been a day, right? Like I played against it once, I think.
Dude, you were up until 2 a.m. I expected you to just have all the fucking thousands of games. Oh, cat. Played already. Okay, all right. You got anything else? Talk about. Let's. You know what? Real quick, because this is our last one. Kind of, in the week of grinding.
Sure.
Let's give it to the people. What do you do if you want to qualify for seasonals? And what do you do preparing your lineup for seasonals? You only got a week. It's not a lot of time to learn 3 brand new decks. You want to go first?
Play the oldies but goodies. If you want to rank up, don't do what I did. It worked for me, but it could have just as easily not. And I have a lot of experience picking decks that I have a lot of experience finding out if something's really good or really not in a given time frame. And like, if I was super trying to grind today, I wouldn't even pick up Leona. Like I will play it because I'm a content creator and that's what I do. But like I would still be playing Ionia and Nami. As far as like lineups, same thing as always, right? Like comfort over everything, basically. Pick the decks that you can play and start there. Build a lineup around those, not the other way around. Not trying to build the best lineup and fit your comfort in. Start with your best decks and go from there.
Yeah, you're probably better off just locking in 3 or 4 decks right now that you can like rotate between and just hammering games over the next week than you are like jumping between, even picking 2 decks and jumping between a bunch of them for the 3rd deck, because this is what people do, is what I do. And then you get like, I don't know, 2 days out, maybe 3 if you're lucky, and you're like, okay, this is my 3rd deck. Then you try to get some games in, and it's like you didn't really have enough time to like really, and that's like best case scenario.
Yeah.
Comfort is so important. I can't even. The only thing is like, I see people do this a lot of time. Like, this is like Annie Jin is my deck. I love it. Or
some decks
like,
just suck.
Yeah, just don't pick a deck that fucking sucks. Like, it needs to be, like solid tier 2 or above, probably. And if you don't know what those are, come ask us in our Discord and we'll tell you. But yeah, try not to. There's a lot of decks that are like, they seem good and they'll even put up results. You might even see them in the top 8 of our tournament on this Saturday. Doesn't mean they're necessarily good and that you should be bringing them.
I would say like Echo Zillion's one of them as well. Yeah, like Echo Zillion, Annie
exactly
Jin,
what I was thinking of.
decks like this, just kind of stay away from them.
Yeah, Lurk. stuff like that.
I
These
default
decks are
towards
like, sorry,
I default towards comfort. Like being able to play a deck is the most important thing, but like the
It is.
secondary thing is just raw power. Like
yeah.
I want
so
my
what you
deck
should
to
be
win the
doing-
majority of my games for me.
Yeah, and so this is why you should be trying decks that have raw power, because you're kind of wasting a little bit of time putting in time with like Targon's Peak or Annie Jin. Again, sorry to people that love those decks. I'm sorry your deck sucks. I'm sorry it does. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not that sorry. I'm sorry.
That was the most Canadian thing you've ever said in your life. I'm
hey?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not that sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help.
Mhm.
You know, it's like people that are like, you know, I tried working out, but it just didn't work for me. Like, okay, what did you do though? Like, I went for a walk 10 minutes a day, like once a week. Like, okay, well, you need to do a little bit. You gotta, tweak it a little bit. You know, change it up. And because I see this a lot, you know, and I get it's hard to be comfortable with a deck you don't like to play. Because
Yeah.
that's a big issue, right? It's a
Yeah.
big issue. So what you do though is you figure out the most powerful decks. Like, I don't know, go to masterguitar.com, go to metastats, go to win percentage, and current patch. Look at like what the top winning decks are. Look for stuff with a good sample size. If it has below 100 games, take it with a huge grain of
Ignore
salt.
it.
Doesn't really
Yeah.
mean shit. That's the baseline. As you get to 200, now it's getting more real, and above that is like pretty good. This is just a starting point, though. Just a starting point. It's not like set in stone that these are the most powerful decks. And you just go through them. Boop, boop, boop. Like play 5 games with this one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then see which ones you're liking and which ones make sense to you, and then and then follow on with those decks. That's like the system that I use basically. And so that way, when it comes time to build a lineup, I am like, okay, cool. Here's like the decks I know how to play, and they are typically the most powerful decks at the top of the metagame. I used to waste a lot of time trying to find all these little fucking nuggets, these little these little fucking decks that are like hidden away that people didn't know about that Zed Auction deck. Like, yeah, let's go. Don't do that. You're wasting a lot of time that you don't have.
Yeah. Every now and then it happens. You get one, but like very rarely, and it's honest. It is usually you're better off putting time into established strong strategies.
Yeah, I'm doing better and better the more that I lean into that. Like,
Yeah.
look at last season. I played Pirates, Kaiza, and Poppy Tarek, which is a deck that I had put a lot of time into and knew quite well, and fucking just beat people over the head with raw power. I played my decks really well. They were very powerful, and it was the first time I ever won 8-1. And if you go all the way back to the first seasonals I ever played, it's like rogue as shit, and then just slowly comes to the point where I'm just like best 3 decks, more and more and more and more and more often. So yeah, and if you have other questions, fucking hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Discord. We answer everyone's questions because you guys are the fucking shit. We'll see you guys on Saturday tournament Saturday, not the podcast. See you Saturday, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific. Fucking Master Runeterra Twitch channel. Peace.